Hello. In this video I'm going to talk to you about section 4 of chapter 11, and chapter 4 is about factorizing trinomials. Before I'm going to tell you how you can factorize trinomials, we're going to look at what trinomials actually are. We've seen before in section 2 binomials. And those were formulas that had two terms. All the binomials do have two terms. And you learned how to factorize them. Let me show you the first one, this one. You're going to factorize this one. It's still a formula, so I need to copy y and is. And then we had one set of brackets. Then we looked at both terms. And you have to think about by what number or by what variable can I divide both terms. In this example, that should be x. Between brackets, the x times something should become x. So over here we need an x, because x times x is x squared. And then x times something must be minus 4x. So there should be a minus 4 over here. So, when you have a binomial, these formulas do have two terms, and when you factorize them, you have one set of brackets. But now let us take a look at trinomials, and when you take a close look, you see that there are each time three terms. Again, three terms. So that's how you can recognize a trinomial. Well, when you are going to factorize a trinomial, and the first one I'm going to use as an example, it always looks like this. Again, it is a formula and it stays a formula. But now we don't have one set of brackets, but always two. And it looks like this. You see, we have the variable y, that's over here, and we have variable x. And x should then always be the first thing after your bracket, over here and also over here. And then we need to find two numbers, two special numbers that should be over here and over there. At this point I'm going to tell you those numbers. Later on I will tell you how to find these numbers. For now it's just that you know how does a factorized trinomial look. And over here we should find plus 3 and over there plus 4. So always when you do have a trinomial and you're going to factorize, there are two sets of brackets. And there's always the variable at this spot and at that spot. Well, let me show you how you factorize a trinomial. And it's good to know it works totally different as binomials. So, over here we have the first example, and over here is a trinomial, and we're going to factorize it. So I've set ready y is two sets of brackets, and also the x is already over here and over there. Why they should be there, I'm going to explain to you later on. For now, it's really important to look at this trinomial. You can see there's a number with the x. It's the 7 with the variable x. And there's also a number over here. And when we are factorizing a trinomial, you have to know the words product and sum. Product is always the result of a multiplication. And the product in this example is 12. There always is also this other number, and it's with the variable. And this number is always the result, it's called the sum, and it's the result of an addition. So, well, I'm looking for two special numbers. And when I multiply those numbers, it should give me 12. But in the meantime, when I add those same numbers, it should be 7. So when you are factorizing a trinomial, you're looking for two special numbers. Sometimes it's a bit difficult to find those numbers, and that's why we have this table. And this table is really helpful, and you are free to use it, or maybe you don't need it. That's also perfectly fine. In this table, we always start with product, and that's 12. So I will write down 12. And now I'm going to think of two numbers. When I multiply them, the solution is 12. And I start as easy as possible. 1 times 12 is 12. But the sum of those two numbers, 1 plus 12, is 13. And I needed 7. So those numbers are not the ones I'm looking for. So I will continue. I just continue in a logic way. 2 times 6. 2 times 6 is also 12. But when I add them, 2 plus 6, I will find 8. And again, I was looking for 7. So those are not the right numbers. So again, I'll continue. 3 times 4 is also 12. And when I add those numbers, I will find 7. So the two special numbers I was looking for were 3 and 4. So now I can finish factorizing this trinomial. These are both positive numbers, so I will use plus 3 and plus 4. And now I'm going to show you that this formula indeed is the same as that one. And then you will also see why this 12 has to do with multiplying and why this 7 has to do with adding. We do this by, again, removing the brackets by using arcs. Remember, we multiply over here. So, x times x is x squared. And that's really good because I need that one. Next arc, x times 4, and that is plus 4x. We continue over here, x times 3, that's plus 3x. And then the last arch is over here, 3 times 4. And I'm not going to write down the solution, but I'll write down what I just said. 3 times 4. And now you can see those two special numbers. 4 plus 3, and that's this 7. 3 times 4, that's 12. So when I shorten this formula, I will find y is equal to x squared plus, and now I'm adding, and that will give me 7x plus, and 3 times 4 is 12. So the only number without a variable is always the product. And you see why. Yes? So this was the first example. I'm going to give you a few more. So let us look at this trinomial. And I've set ready y is equal to 2 sets of brackets and x is already at the proper place. So now you need to take a good look which one is the product. And that's the one without a variable. So this one is the product. And the sum is the one number with the variable x. So this is the sum. Always start with product and start as easy as you can think of. 1 times 20 is 20. But when I add them, 21. And so you will continue. 2 times 10. But when you add them, it's 12. When you continue doing this, you will find a solution. Never work with decimal numbers or fractions. So I skip 3. I can continue with 4 times 5. 4 times 5 is 20. And when I add them, I will find 9. And that was the number I was looking for. So, those were the two special numbers. Both are positive, so I can finish this x plus 4 and x plus 5. So over here, we factorized this trinomial. So never say the last number is the product. because it's not always in the end of your trinomial. You can sometimes see the same trinomial, but then written down like this. Plus 20 plus 9x. So you have to make sure this is still the product. This is the number without a variable. So this is product, and the number with the variable is always the sum. So let us look at the third example, and now we also see minus. So this means that product is not 21, but minus 21. The sum is positive 4. And again, always start with product and start as easy as you can think of. The sum is minus 20. And just continue doing this. I can't use 2, but I can use 3. 3 times minus 7. But the only problem, when I add them, I will find minus 4 and I need positive 4. So I take positive 7 and negative 3. And then I will find positive 4. So the special numbers over here, be aware of the minus. So this will be x plus 7 and this will be x minus 3. So be aware of the negative numbers. It's not a problem if you switch those around. So this is also perfectly well. So I could put the minus 3 in front and then x plus 7. That's both formulas are really well. So let us look at the last example, the most difficult one. Again, the number without a variable, that's your product. But over here, I should look for a number with this variable. But at this point, there is no number. But you should know, we mean 1. So the sum is minus 1. So I'm looking for two numbers. When I multiply them, it's minus 30. And when I add them, it's minus 1. So when you use the table and you continue on, you will find those numbers. Just check what I'm doing. And I'm only using whole numbers. And sometimes you think, well, there is no solution. We skip 4 because then we get a decimal number. You will find them when you continue doing this. 5 plus minus 6 is minus 1. So there is a solution to this trinomial. You can factorize this one. We have a positive 5, so I use a plus. And we have a negative 6, so I use minus. And then we factorized this trinomial. This is, you need to practice this a lot. And you will see, you will become quicker finding those numbers. And you are always allowed to use a table like this. If you can do it without a table, that's really well. You are allowed to do that.